living with heart. Basically, it's trusting enough in yourself that you'll be able to trust in others and be able to trust that it's all going to work out. You're the only one that's always going to be there for you. That's it. Even for me, like kids, whatever family we have, you can't guarantee that. You are the only one that's physically going to be there with you for the rest of your life. So you might as well make a good friend out of yourself, and you might as well get to like yourself. You might as well get to love yourself. You might as well get to accept, trust, be grateful for everything. It all comes down to Hey, welcome back. So the lesson we're going to discuss today is, I call it dare to share first. Now, what do I mean by that? When we're talking about relatability and connection, let me ask you this. Have you ever walked down a busy city street and everyone's kind of have their heads in their phone and no one's paying attention to anybody? Well, dare to share first means you go out and you start it. You be the one who is going to try to engage somebody. The same way we do on social media, we need to do in real life. Because not for all people, but for people who may, be going through a tough time in their life, when they're not acknowledged, that kind of sends off a sign them like, hey, you're invisible. I don't see you, right? So that's the purpose of dare to share first, or the meaning is that if you're at a store and you're in line and you're waiting, spark up a conversation. I did this my entire life since I was able to drive when I was 16. And the reason I did it didn't come from a healthy place. It came from that I felt really disconnected and not connected in my own family. So, when I walked outside my front door, the world became my home and strangers became family. And again, started as an unhealthy start, but what developed from that was I saw that everybody, without exception, that I have spoken to and started conversation, asked questions to, everybody answers. And so I'd like you to step out of your comfort zone and go up to a stranger today. Ask them a question. It can be a deep question. I used to ask deep questions, like strangers. I still do. I'll ask them, if you had one wish, what would you wish for? And they look at you like you're kind of crazy, but then they really get into answering, because everyone likes to be seen and heard. So the homework for this one, there's nothing in writing. You just got to practice this. I will tell you it's easier with a stranger than it is with like a coworker or someone. So ask a stranger, what do you have to lose? Nothing. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. So thanks. I'll see you in the next lesson. Welcome back. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about how your story is also someone else's story. Now, in the previous lesson, I encouraged you to step out of your comfort zone and to go up and initiate a conversation. Today's lesson is, once you've initiated that conversation, if you share something about yourself, something personal, that opens the door for whoever you're talking to share about them. And it's just human nature. Most people, once they know that someone else has a similar experience, they want to share theirs, even if it's something that is not a positive experience. When I first started this whole process, I would share things that a lot of people would be embarrassed to share. Perfect example would be like thoughts. It'd be like, oh my God, this is like where my mind goes. And by saying that, it gave other people permission to say, oh, really? You think that too? Because that's the same way I think. And that frees someone of what they've been holding in, because they feel that it's only them who thinks, feels, or does something. And you know what? I've talked to so many people over the years, and we all do the same things. We're human beings. The thoughts we think, most of us have the same thoughts. And it's really freeing to find out that what you may think you're the only one that does, to find out like, yeah, no, it's not just you. So in today's lesson, again, this is a practice one. I want you to go out intentionally now, create a connection, share something about yourself that you think is kind of odd and that no one else thinks that one thing. And I pretty much guarantee you that whoever you're going to open up to like that, you're going to create a safe space for them to share something about themselves which they feel abnormal for having that feeling or thought. So go out and practice, step out of your comfort zone, have fun with this, because not only, I'll tell you what, not only is it freeing for them, but it's really freeing to go out and just be who you are and put it out there, and to find out you really won't be judged for it. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about being curious and asking. And it ties into the previous two lessons, and where I'm asking you to go out and be a little brave and start conversations and see if you can find connections. Today's lesson is all about asking. And in business courses, and they talk to you about asking, but it's asking so you can get what you want. Well, this time I'm going to ask you to ask without getting anything in return. At least you won't be aware of what you're getting in return. Now, what I mean by that is my entire life I've asked questions of people. And through hearing their answers, so it's really cool, is that when you can learn from somebody else's life, it pops out at you and says, hey, pay attention. I'm a life lesson here. Pay attention to me and listen. So, asking, be curious. For those of you who have kids like when they're 2 or 3, they drive you crazy and they go, what's that? Well, I want you to be like a kid. I want you to be curious about everything. And this does a few things. One, a few lessons ago, we talked about seeing the world through the eyes of a child. Well, now I want you to have the mind, not childish, but I want you to have the mind of a child, that curiosity, the curiosity that enables you to have like this open mind, and that, you'll see the world in a whole different way. When you're asking questions, just whatever someone says to you, ask another question. And 9 out of 10 people are going to keep answering them. Now, what's hard about this is it takes a while to learn to be an intentional listener. It takes some time to get comfortable asking questions. So I want you to start practicing now. Practice today. The easiest questions you can ask are just follow up on somebody else's comments. So when they say something to you, that you say, what did you think about that? How did that make you feel? Open-ended questions are the way to go. Now, the second part of this is you've asked, now you need to learn to really listen to what they're saying. And that's what we're going to discuss in the next lesson. So I will see you there, and have your ears wide open. I'll talk to you then. Hey, welcome back. So today's lesson is about listening. No, not just plain old listening. It's about intentionally listening. So with intentional listening, your goal is, there are 2 goals here. The first goal is to allow somebody and give someone permission to be themselves without fear of judgment. So you're creating that safe space. The second thing you're doing here is, though, if you can learn to listen, to really listen to what they're saying, you will learn so much. I can guarantee you this, because I've been doing it my whole life. And I can tell you that I have 2 college degrees. I learn more from other people and their real life experiences than I ever did in school. Because this is real life stuff that you're going to hear. And most of it, you'll be able to apply pieces of it to your own life. So intentionally listen. What exactly does that mean? Well, all right. When you have a conversation with someone, how many times have you caught yourself, they're talking and talking, and it's almost as like you see their lips moving, but you're not really registering what they're saying. And the reason we do that is because we like things all about us. So in your mind, we're usually trying to figure out what we want to say next. Well, I'm asking you not to do this. I'm asking you to quiet your mind enough so that you can actually receive what you're hearing, all right? And by doing that, the person is going to see that you're intentionally listening, because it's something, I don't know how to describe this, but from what I've seen over the years, you can tell in someone's eyes if you have their attention, if they're really listening to you. And again, you're doing this because it makes somebody else feel really seen, heard, and as though they matter. But you're also benefiting because you're going to learn from that. Now, a very cool example of this is I interview women, and I would learn a lot from them. And one woman was telling me one time how her daughter was hit by a car, and she was afraid to tell her mom that she was hit by a car. Now, she wasn't hit seriously enough to have to go to the hospital, but she was hit by a moving car. And in listening to the mom's story, it ends up that the daughter felt that the mom always was on her back and told her, she didn't tell her a whole lot of positive things. She told her mostly negative things she did wrong. So the daughter was afraid to tell her because it ends up the daughter thought the mom would yell at her because she crossed a street she wasn't supposed to cross. Now, my point is, when I listen to that, my daughter does not talk ever. She does not like to talk. Clearly, she doesn't take after me. I love to talk. But my mind immediately went to, oh my God, I wonder if my daughter thinks the same thing, and that's why she doesn't share. So by listening to that woman, it prompted me to really look at the way I interacted with my daughter to see if maybe I was giving her that message, and I wasn't sure, so I asked my daughter. But those are type of things you can learn, So go out with these skills, practice, and I've said before, it's easier to practice on strangers because you have nothing to lose. They're not going to judge you. You'll never see them again. And the cool thing here also is you never know that person you meet and you talk to, you may be just that one bright piece of their day that makes their entire day. And all you did was you start a conversation. That's it. So, well, I will see you in the next module. Bye-bye.